improve what you're doing now in these categories, you will see a dramatic increase in your muscle growth, no matter what your age. Hey guys, Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic, and today I want to give you some ideas on how to speed up your muscle growth, even for you guys that are over 50 like me. And this is a question that I see on a regular basis, both on our YouTube channel and in our Facebook group. Plus, people asking me in person all the time, what am I doing wrong? I've hit a plateau. So what I want you to realize, 99% of you guys watching right now are nowhere near your growth potential when it comes to building muscle. You guys are just doing lots of things wrong, and we're going to cover those today. I've actually broken this down into different categories, so bear with me. And I would say, as far as myself is concerned, I'm probably close to my genetic potential. It's really hard for me to build muscle now because I've been doing it so long, and I think I've been doing everything close to perfect. Nah, my nutrition and recovery isn't perfect. That's probably the big one. But it's much harder for me to build muscle than 99% of you guys watching right now, because most of you guys are either beginners or intermediates, okay? And so you got a long way to go. As a matter of fact, the good news is, for you beginners and intermediates, y'all are going to see the most muscle growth. You're going to see way more changes to your body than I could in the same time period. And that's actually good news. And it's going to be exciting. And I want you guys to be sure and take progress pics. Okay, I got a whole nother video on that right here on this YouTube channel. So just type in progress pics and search for that. But I got 5 just basic kind of big categories that I'm going to cover today. And I promise, if you can just kind of improve what you're doing now in these 5 categories, you will see a dramatic increase in your muscle growth, no matter what your age. Okay, so the first one, guys, and that it's something called progressive overload. And that is just a fancy way of saying you guys need to push yourself harder, okay? Most older guys kind of put it on cruise control when we work out, whether it's at the gym or at home, which means you end up doing the same amount of weight week after week, month after month, and that is not progressing the overload. That progressive overload means you need to load more weight, more stress on the muscles than they can handle, than they were handling last week, okay? And that means that you guys need to keep track of your workouts. All right, so if you're doing my Fit After 50 program, you know, every page is set up so that you can print it out on a single page. And then there's a right-hand column for you to write notes. The notes section is for you to keep track of how much weight or resistance bands you're doing on every exercise. All right, and that way you save it and look at it next week, and I want you to try to up the weight. Now, you can't increase it every week. That's too short of a time period, all right? But especially you beginners will be able to increase it probably every other week, okay? And then, you know, it'll start ramping down. You know, the curve won't be so steep. You know, it'll start flattening out a little bit. But guys, you have to push yourself harder, and progressive overload means doing more weight on the same exercise as time goes by. And another way of thinking about it, guys, is just the intensity that you're putting into your workouts, okay? Now, you beginners, when you're doing my program, I specifically tell you in the first phase, don't push yourself too hard, okay? I'm talking about the guys who've been working out for several months now, and your body has adapted, and now it's ready to be pushed hard, okay? Your ligaments, your tendons, your muscles, your joints have all adjusted and adapted to working out on a regular basis now. Now it's time for you to increase the intensity, which means you're going to have to take your workouts close to failure. You don't have to go to failure on every single exercise, on every single set, but you need to think in those terms: progressive overload, intensity, close to failure. Okay, category number 2, and that is, guys, when you're doing an exercise, whether it's a bench press or a squat or a curl, whatever, you need to do each exercise with a full range of motion. So what does that mean? Okay, it means if I'm doing a curl, okay, I want to go all the way down, lock it out, and come up basically as high as I can. That's the full range of motion that my arm will go through, right? If I'm not using any weights, I can do this range of motion. All right, so when I add weight, I don't want to just do little halves or just up here, little halves at the top. Full range of motion where you're stretching the muscle out and then you're contracting it and getting it as short as it will go. And that applies for every exercise, whether you're doing legs, whether it's squats or leg extensions or leg curls or lunges or back exercises. You need to do full range of motion. Now, another way of saying full range of motion is use good form, okay? And if you're not sure exactly what good form means on a certain exercise, it is so easy to figure that out. All right. First of all, Gary and I have shot tons of videos right here on this YouTube channel, and you can probably find every single exercise right here on this channel with Gary and I performing it and discussing how to do it and how not to do it. All right. But another thing is you can get on Google and just type in the name of the exercise and find lots of examples. So good form is really important because it's only when you're using good form that you can get that mind-muscle connection. And let me just briefly explain what I'm talking about there. So you don't want to just be going through the full range of motion with a weight while you're watching Oprah on TV, right? There's no mind-muscle connection. Your mind is focusing on something else, okay? You want to be really thinking about what you're doing. You want to be able to picture the muscle. Sometimes guys will actually look at their arms when they're doing a curl so they can get a better mind-muscle connection. When I follow some of these young, serious bodybuilders, the guys that are competing, and I mean, these guys are just phenomenal. They talk about that mind-muscle connection. And these are guys typically in their 30s now, and they regret not having figured that out when they were younger. Because when they were younger, they just threw a lot of weight on there and just pushed the weight. As long as the weight went up and down, they figured they were doing it right. They've since learned that using less weight, better form, and really focusing on the contraction of that muscle fiber is way more beneficial to building muscle than just going through the motions, even if you're using a heavy weight. Okay, number 3, guys. A lot of y'all have probably never heard of this, and that is I want you to try a pre-workout. So what is that? Well, it's a supplement. All right. I've been doing them for years. I love my pre-supplement. All right. And I'm going to explain a little bit about it. This is something we make right here called anabolic ATP. These pre-workouts are designed to basically wake you up, give you more focus, more energy, more stamina, and allow you to push yourself harder during your workout. So this is what happens with me. I will be sitting here on the computer typing away on our Facebook group, answering questions and answering emails and just doing other random stuff. And I'll be sitting, all right, and I'll get real lethargic and sluggish. I might have eaten something, and now it's, kind of early afternoon. I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, golly, it's time to go to the gym and work out. But man, I just don't feel it. I am just beat. All right. I just don't feel like work. I don't have any energy. All right. I'm not going to be able to go to the gym and focus and really lift the weight. So guys, I take this every single day before I go work out. I love this stuff. There's a bunch of great ingredients in here, and I can't even remember off the top of my head, but we actually, this is one of the only ones I know of that's designed specifically for men over 40. Some pre-workouts that are designed for these young kids in their 20s, they're just, they make you go crazy. They make you real jittery. They put too much caffeine and too much beta-alanine and too much of some of these other ingredients in there. Yes, this does have caffeine, but not a crazy amount. All right, we have some other things in there that I also love. Anyway, what it does is it helps to just kind of wake me up and make me feel more alert. All right, and then I typically drink it on the way to the gym. And then when I get to the gym, it's easier for me to just get into my workout. I don't spend the first 20, 30 minutes just kind of sleepwalking around the gym. I'm there to go. It increases my focus and it increases my ability to push myself hard, the intensity level. And of course, that mind muscle connection is much better when I do this, as opposed to just going in cold turkey and trying to do my workout. So guys, if you've never tried one, trust me, you're gonna love it. It tastes fantastic too. That's another thing. You don't have to like force it down. I mean, it tastes phenomenal. It doesn't have a bunch of sugar in there. You don't have to worry about the calories. Click the link below this video, and then like all of our other supplements, we have the best guarantee in the entire industry, bar none. So if you don't like it, just let us know. Send us an email and we'll refund your money. So it's basically a no risk deal. But if you've never tried this, all right, you're going to feel completely different as you're going through your workouts. All right, you'll love it. And then I actually take it a lot of times on days when I'm not working out. I just need to get up and get going and doing something. I need to get in the garage and work on the race car and I don't feel like it. I'll take my pre-workout. Okay, so the last category today is recovery. And that's actually more important for us older guys. Man, when you were in your 20s, you could kind of get away with a lot. You could get away with very little sleep, eating whatever the hell you wanted to, and you could still build muscle. All right. Well, the good old days are gone. We got to be a little smarter now. So recovery is part sleep and part nutrition. Okay. And when I say nutrition, let's just break it down into just protein. Most of you guys watching right now are not getting enough protein in your daily diet. And the reason that's important is because when we work out, when we push ourselves, when we do the volume and the intensity and the range of motion, everything I mentioned earlier, we're damaging the muscle fibers intentionally. We're hurting our body. We're creating micro tears, millions and millions of little micro tears. And what happens is during the recovery, which is typically 2, 3, 4 days, all right, your body, especially during sleep, will take the protein that you've eaten during the day and it will use that to repair those damaged muscle fibers, okay? And what happens is your body is smart. Not only does it repair those damaged muscle fibers, but it repairs them slightly bigger and slightly stronger than they were before you damaged them. All right, you do that often enough, and of course they get bigger and stronger, boom, we're growing our muscles. But if you're killing yourself on your workouts and you're not getting enough protein every day, that means your body won't see 100% of its potential growth based on your workouts. All right, so if you're only getting half as much protein as your body really needs, yes, you might be building muscle, but you might only be building 50% as much as you would if you were eating enough protein every day. All right, and it's okay, I understand, some days you're not gonna make it, but guys, you need at least 0.7 of a gram of protein for each pound of ideal body weight. So when I say ideal body weight, I mean, what weight would you be if you got rid of all the fat that you want to get rid of? So if you weigh 300 pounds right now and you know your ideal weight is really around 200 pounds, that's the number. You would take 0.7 grams of protein times 200 pounds of body weight, and that would give you 140 grams of protein per day. That's a really good rule of thumb. And I would say that's the minimum amount you want if you're really trying to build muscle. A lot of the more serious guys shoot for 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. All right, that's hard to do. All right, which means you need to know all the different proteins out there that are available to eat in your daily diet. And you really ought to consider adding a protein powder or a protein supplement to your daily routine. All right, so guys, closing up, 5 big categories, but every one of those things are something that you really can do. You have control over all those things. And trust me, once you get used to it, they're not that hard to follow. You don't have to be perfect all the time, but you need to be able to accomplish the vast majority of those 5 categories on a regular basis. And I promise if you do that, you'll be able to dramatically increase your muscle growth, even you guys over 50. And all that requires is sticking with it and never giving up on yourself.